Testing, testing. 1, 2, 3. Boing. Hello everyone and welcome to the stream. Let's just see everything's going on okay. Hello Slip. Hello, hello, hello. Man, what a day it was today, wasn't it, Slip? Such an adventure from time to time, such an adventure. Let me turn down the music a bit. Okay, there we go. Whew. So let's just wait for everyone to join. Come on, folks. Don't be shy. Well, looks like we got some folks in here. I have to refresh the interface. Scooby Dude 51 is now following. Thanks for the follow, my friend. Thank you very much. Dr. Drogi put some links on UE for stream. So start, man. Okay, starting. So folks, today we are gonna continue our GDD. And let's actually go into the presentation. Boink. So, in store for today, and I just crossed 100 followers. Woo! Thank you. Thanks for noticing that, Slipcore. I knew we were at 97 or something. Indie Club Live and the boys just dropped in. I was watching him earlier. Curious who won the contest there, the giveaway. Okay, so today's schedule, 15 minutes. We're gonna be warming up, waiting for everyone to join, and we're gonna be talking about what we plan to do today. 45 minutes we're gonna actually work on the project. Then we'll have a 10-minute break with questions and answers, I hope. Then again 45 minutes working on the project. Then 15 minutes closing questions. And 5 minutes, you know, my usual blah 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 yada yada yada, just to close everything up. So, hello alls, I'll say it there. Questions and dancers, yes. And Prancer and Dancer and all the other reindeers. So, I should have somewhere here. Boink! We will start by porting the project to 4.19.2. As you remember, I created the project in 4.18, but that was just me, and just because I didn't download the template projects for 4.19.2. Hello, Florinel. I'm still curious, folks, who won the giveaway. So then we're gonna continue defining the game mechanics. Then we will try to get ourselves a quick win to blueprint something just to make us feel better. Just like yesterday, we prototyped the scale for the large environmental puzzles in our project. Now we're gonna try to maybe blueprint something real quick just to make sure everyone's feeling okay and comfortable working with Unreal. And we will probably start thinking about HUD elements in the last part of the stream, because that also affects the way we define the GDD. Bing one. Congratulations, Bing, for winning Indie Club Live's giveaway. That's why you purchased more tickets, eh? It actually worked. Yeah, good job. Okay, so without further ado, let me transition to our... There we go. Let me transition to our actual Boink. Yes, Roberto Bocara, welcome my dear friend. You are just on time, we just started. We were just looking over the schedule, so congrats on that. So here's the deal. This is the Epic Games launcher, right? Everyone can see it? Yeah, everyone can see it, right? There we go. And I created the puzzle adventure project in 4.18.3, this bad boy. Again, let me try to make the pointer more visible. Boink, there we go. So I created it in 4.18.3, in this one. But we want to work with 4.19.2, and I hope the rest of you created it directly in 4.19.2. So I'm just gonna right click on it if that works. If not, we're gonna find another solution. No, I have to navigate to the project, and this is something you don't have to do because you probably started right from the first shot. So puzzle adventure, there we go. Right click on it, and I will click here on switch Unreal Engine version. This way I can also bring myself up to date on 4.19.2 just like you are. 4.19, okay. Oh, Roberto, you can't use 4.19.2. Why is that? Why is that, my friend? Your university has the inability to update the free software. Aha, okay, okay. No worries, no worries. Most of the things we'll do will work in 4.18.3, no problem. Maybe, just maybe, at the lighting aspect, you might see some interface changes, maybe. Don't worry about it. 4.18.3, that's exactly how we started the project. Don't sweat it, don't sweat it. Okay. So I'm guessing it's finished. I have no visual feedback on my screens. So I'm guessing it finished. Let's see if my 4.19.2 sees it. Because I have nothing on screen. This is... You'll try your best. Excellent. We'll also try our best. Everyone should try their best. Alrighty, alrighty, alrighty. There we go. So now 4.19.2 sees my project. There we go. And I'll just open it. That's it. Completely painless and no sweat. My loading screen is in another monitor, but probably the Unreal Engine will show up on this screen properly. There we go. All right. Some viewport settings I recommend and I prefer doing all the time because I'm streaming and I want you to see properly everything on the screen. So first of all, I will open up the output log. This one, see? There we go. So I'll take out this output log, and just in my case, I will put it behind my face in the stream, here. Boop, 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 here. And I'll actually drag it all the way here. This way I can still look at the output log and see if something's going on, and we're not losing screen space with my face and the background. Okay, what else am I gonna do? I will open more content browser windows. I am content browser fanatic, and I try to use as many as possible. And my setup, which I found for me to be the most comfortable, is to do this, to keep two content browsers here and two content browsers here. Yes, I will be the first one to admit that I have a pretty large monitor, so I can spare that space, but it also helps me moving things around from one part to another, so that's why I do it. Yes, Slipcore, exactly, and that's precisely why I'm doing it. So I can move stuff from folder to folder easily, and also to keep multiple objects on hand at the same time. Necessity drove me to this solution, not necessarily personal preference or anything. Okay. So I'm just arranging viewports here and there, and because this is again something I prefer to do every time after I arrange the viewport layouts. It goes back from the days when the builds weren't that stable, but I still do it to this day. I just close the project and open it up again. Let's see if it opens up with 419. Yeah. I want to make sure the layout in the editor gets saved. And that's the best way to do it. You just close the editor, and then when it opens, you know for sure it was saved. I'm pretty sure there's a save viewport layout or save user interface layout somewhere, a command, but it's super fast and simple to do it like this. This way I know for sure there's save and stored, and now I can work this way. Here's something else I will try to do right now. So, you know what? Let's try to be a bit more professional, and let's actually do this. So I did port the project to 419.2. which was a task just for me. Yeah, there you go. There you go, Slipcore. That's why we close it and open it up again, just to make sure everything is saved. And because I did finish this task, let me see. I wanna do this because it's really it's a very good feeling. I get a very good feeling when I do this. So I select the font and I go blam. There we go. I ported the project to 419.2. Done. And it feels really good to actually put a strike through on items on the list, because it makes me actually understand the progress I did, no matter how big or small. Let's continue defining the game mechanics. So, as you can notice in the Discord server, and let's go back to the stream scene now. Boink. As you can notice in the Discord server, we do have a channel about Season 2 Puzzle Adventure. Not much action going on in it so far. And let me just copy the Discord link and share it with everyone. Invite people. Copy, there you go, there we go. Smerketa, welcome back, is asking me why am I only on Twitch? Because I'm in the process of enabling the Twitch affiliate option, and because Twitch was the place where the most people would join anyway. So I'd rather put my efforts and put all the tools at work for Twitch and just upload to YouTube. Mixer and Smashcast were pretty much dead. Mixer was kinda moving, but we had from time to time one viewer for a brief period of time. So yeah, Merketa aka Marcel. Welcome Marcel. See, you can do it on Twitch as well. Okay. So now I have the project set up, everything is good. Let's talk about game mechanics. For that, of course, I need to open the classical Drive document, because this is how we work. This is how we roll with documents. Okay, first person puzzle. So let's see how much progress we did so far. We still don't have a working title, not even a working title, so we're describing it by the first person puzzle adventure name altogether. I see a troll is dancing. Thank you very much, Curses. Thank you for the follow. And I invite each and every one of you to just type in the chat if you want a name for this first-person puzzle adventure project, even if it's just a temporary working title, but let's call it something. And yes, Smerketa, to answer your question, yes, it's a first-person puzzle adventure. Third person might be the next season, season 3, but for now we're in first person. So, player has to solve large environmental puzzles. This is the main feel of the game and the main idea behind the game. Here's an example of a medium-sized puzzle. Here's an example of a small-sized puzzle guarded by an unstoppable enemy. Thank you very much, Sleepcore, because he did this yesterday while we were streaming, because he's blueprinting along and working the project as we progress during the streams. And thank you so much for this setup. And here's a large-scale puzzle example, just to set the sizing of the puzzles and to quickly convey the concept behind the puzzles and how big we want them to be. Mostly 75% of the time we will interact and move objects around to solve a puzzle, and partly 25% of the time we will avoid some unstoppable enemies. So this square guy here is an unstoppable enemy. This square guy here, which is in early prototype rough draft phase, is an unstoppable enemy. We want to have a narrative arc told mostly 80% of the time through environmental setups, notes, memos, and audio found in the world. And from time to time we will use cinematics, 20%, to progress the story. So come on, jump in the chat with ideas about the name for this first-person puzzle adventure, which is mostly about solving puzzles, but from time to time about avoiding unstoppable enemies, and which has storytelling told through the game's world itself, not necessarily through cinematics. We were also brainstorming about making it, putting it in a setting, Puzzle Maria. Okay, that's the first name. It's okay, Slipcore, we can just brainstorm it now for a few minutes. Puzzle Maria, we've got our first Puzzle Mania. Okay, sorry, small fonts, and I'm old and I need my glasses. Puzzle Mania, first proposal. Also, I'm heavily inclined to go with the pun level sand maps, and to actually make this in a setting with a lot of desert, be it Earth or Mars or another fantasy alien planet which has a lot of desert in it, so a lot of sand. Just to continue the joke about level sand maps. Jenko, welcome to the stream, my friend, and he's proposing the undetected. Okay. Puzzle Mania, the undetected. Come on, Sleepcore. First thing that goes through your head. Doesn't have to be cool, it just has to be family friendly. at Puzzle Mania. That's very remarkably similar to Hot Wheels. Okay, we've got curses proposing discovery. Okay. Discovery. Hot Puzzle Mania. Yeah. Discovery, then detected, and mania. You know what? Let's roll with these three. So I'll just go at the end of the document and we'll just put these three in and we'll use this as keywords, and at least we'll use them to search for other words or names based on them. So we had undetected, yes. Mania, yes. And discovery. Okay, we can always mash up this. Undetected, mania, and discovery. Mania. Puzzle of design. Okay. Puzzle of design. That's actually a good one, Florinel. Puzzle of design, because of level design. So we've got undetected and discovery. You know what? I'll just group these two together. At least I'll show you how I think about this. And thanks for all the suggestions. Undetected and discovery. Puzzle by design. Okay, we're going places, Slipcore. So I'll just take these two, undetected and discovery, and maybe try to find something that's somewhere in that ballpark, and I'll try to use the word untold. And mania and puzzle of or by design. And you know what? Let's actually put it here, designs. How would untold designs sound like? You can throw tomatoes, oppose it. Untold designs. We're kinda in the same ballpark with everyone's proposals. And hopefully there's not another game which is already called that, because that would be That sounds like a not well-known fairy tale telling you about design. Yeah. Fourth wall self-referential. A bit, but at the same time, it's it does make a pretty good connection to the mysterious large environmental puzzles. And yes, they are untold, because remember, although I will practice some level design during the streams, I do hope people will use the base first-person puzzle adventure project we build to practice level design and tell their own stories. So, you know what? You helped me convince myself, Slipcore. We're gonna use this one, untold designs. There. We're just gonna wrap it in here. Horizon Zero Dune. Okay. Untold sandy designs. Cool. So, okay, let's clear this up. Now we have a working title name at least. And let's decrease this font a bit, because we don't need it to be that big anymore. Oink. Just describes what style of project it will be. Okay, a player has to solve large environmental puzzles. Here are the examples of the medium-sized puzzles. So now you know what I would like to do. Let's open Photoshop. It's Photoshop time. Blah. And the game will tell its own story too. I want this so much to be the case, because that's what I'm aiming for. So let's make this bigger first of all. Boink. So I would like us to talk a bit about game mechanics, just to give us some context and a good base for how we will structure our conversation. So here's how I've been taught and how I like to approach game mechanics. And you know what? I just made this gray so it doesn't tire your eyes that much. I just realized it now, 2 or 3 months after using Photoshop during the streams, that we can actually do this so it's less tiresome. Okay, the game mechanics in my world and in the way I look at, I prefer to look at video games, have 3 components. So first of all, we're talking about the signs and feedback. Signs and feedback. So this is basically what a game mechanic in the game, how the game shows me that that specific game mechanic is available, that I can interact with an item, that I can pick up an item, that I can shoot at an item, that I have to dodge an object, you name it. Another component would be the control. There we go. Control, or I will say here input. So this means and talks about how do I as a player, when I'm prompted by the game, or when the game tells me, hey, you can do something in the game, how do I actually make that something happen? And input could just be a button press, or it could actually be an analog stick movement. It could be a swipe with the mouse from the left to the right of the screen. It can be a bit more complex. So it's not just press key to do this, although this is the most common form of game mechanics we have in the gaming world. 70% of the game mechanics we play each day are press X to do this, or just to go to that super famous pun, press F to pay respects. Okay, signs and feedback, control, and then we also have difficulty. And this difficulty is actually defined by multiple components. So let's actually use some normal text now, because we'll start writing a bit more details here. So what does the difficulty mean? The actual difficulty of the problem to solve. There we go. Come on. Come on, text, help me out. Yes, visible. The actual difficulty of the problem to solve. What else could the difficulty be about? The time needed to correctly execute the solution. So this is again something else we'll look at. And let's say also the quantity of stuff that happens, the quantity of stuff. I'll just put this like this, stuff. The amount of options, yes, exactly, the amount of options. That sounds better, Jenko. The amount of options. That sounds better, Jenko. I will use your phrasing because it sounds so much better. Control and input. Now this one might be the simplest way to explain this is you press something. So it might be the actual input mapping, but it can actually mean input duration. Now I'll just keep on writing here. Input duration. It can actually also mean even the type of input. And we'll get to that in a bit of time. And signs and feedback, as I said, are signs and feedback are HUD, sound, everything. The game says, the game shows me, the game says in order to make me understand that mechanic is available and accessible or completed by me. So let's put any HUD, sound, etc. The game shows me to explain the state of the mechanic. All right. And we also have right here in the center, and I'll put it with blue, I guess. Blue is a good color. Okay. Mechanic types. There we go. So the mechanics can be of more than one type. They can be physical, which require an actual input on a keyboard, controller, mouse, Kinect sensor, you name it. Or they can also be social, for instance. World of Warcraft is a game which relies heavily on social mechanics. So there, my input as a player, most of the time, is talking and synchronizing my actions with other players in order to defeat a mega boss, unlock parts of the world, etc. And another example of mechanics heavily used are mental mechanics, where the input is again typing in a solution, but the goal there lies in the player having to solve a problem. And aside from our game, which will have large environmental puzzles, which of course are a mental mechanic, because you'll have to solve those puzzles, can you think of any other game that relies heavily on mental mechanic types? I also tap it in here. Yes, Braid is a good example for the time control part. It is still pretty intense on input as well. The witness, however, Jenko, yes, the witness is heavily mental oriented. In the witness, chess, a very good example, Dr. Drogi. Chess is totally like, chess is 95% mental. The control and input is there just to serve continuing the game. It's almost, I mean, you have a few restrictions there as well, but most of the game you're focused on the mental aspect. Yes. I'll give you a surprising example. Candy Crush, believe it or not. Candy Crush is a heavily mental-oriented game, any match 3 game for that matter. Although it has silly colors and it's super easy to control the game, it's heavily relying on its mental mechanics. And yes, Dr. Drogi, chess is the master of all games. Florinel said Minesweeper. That's another brilliant example. Minesweeper is definitely, totally, mostly mental mechanic oriented. Again, the input just serves more to help you advance the game's states rather than to actually help you succeed at anything. Very good. Okay. So let's see. If this is the style of puzzle-y game we want to achieve, let's try to now quickly make a table of game mechanics here. There we go. And let's see, insert a table. Heavy Rain, Indigo Prophecy in that category. Yes, Jenko, Heavy Rain and Indigo Prophecy are in that mental category because you have to remember what people did and names and actions, but they also have top-notch physical mechanics, especially in Indigo Prophecy. I remember the way you used to take interviews and dodge vehicles by making complex physical movements with the controller's stick. So they have very solid and deep physical mechanics as well. So let's make a table here. Where do I insert a table? Insert an image. No, I don't want to insert an image. If I can, insert a table in this one. Insert, there we go, table. And I don't know, 4 lines by 4 columns by 5 lines, 5 columns by 5. Okay, let's try like this. So name of the mechanic, we're interested about writing down the name of the mechanic, the type of the mechanic, what else, the feedback, the input required to solve it, and for now let's just talk about the win and the fail condition. So what happens if I properly provide the input and solve the mechanic, or what happens if I fail at providing the input and I fail at the challenge. So the types can be, of course, I just write here what types we can have: mental, social, physical, and what else could we possibly have? Mental, physical, social, Bartle taxonomy during the development of the mechanics. I don't go that far, Jenko. If I'm not mistaken, Bartle taxonomy refers to the style of players, and I don't go that far because I kind of already know what kind of players I want to attract with this game. So I'm not trying to open up the game to all the classes of the players. I'm trying to open the game more towards the puzzlery, explorer kind of players. If we would be working on a much more complex game, then what Jenko says, to use the Bartle taxonomy model, or an even more recent one perfected by a team of psychologists from Palo Alto, whose names I keep on forgetting, then yeah, we would definitely need to look at what kind of players we want to attract and what kind of toys do we supply for them. However, thanks for mentioning this Genko, target audience. It's something we can write down just so we remember for who are we building this game, what kind of people we want or what kind of people we know will play this game. For this first-person puzzle adventure game, it's a pretty narrow audience, so it's not like everyone in the world should play it, and we won't make effort to expand the audience. So let's see. They're mostly the explorer type. They like wandering around in beautiful environments, searching every nook and cranny. What else? They like mental challenges of, and I will say here, moderate difficulty. So just by using this phrase, yeah, elitist. Yeah, and I honestly hope each and every one of us will build their own version of the levels, and then we'll bombard Indy with our builds so he'll analyze them and play them. Yeah, they notice a lot of points of interest. Yeah. Elitist. That's why I said moderate difficulty sleepcore. Pay a lot of attention to the environment. Yes. So prototype, they like wandering around in beautiful environments. Okay. They enjoy the game's progression when it's led to, let's call them discrete level design. So what we're gonna try to do with this project is not to put so we're gonna try to guide the players discreetly, almost invisibly, by using exactly points of interest, as Genko said, and by having the players pay attention to the environment. We will absolutely, positively stay away from using the HUD markers, the HUD beacons in the world. Go there, do this, press this, pull that. The clear-cut directive approach. So we won't try to interfere with their play process and play style. We'll just keep it as discreet as possible, because this is the only way we'll achieve a good challenge, a good mental challenge, but not a hard one. So we want them to feel smart. We want the players to work a bit for feeling smart, but we don't want them to have everything on a plate, nor to be too stressed that they can't figure out a solution. Okay, so what game mechanics do we have? We definitely have movement, which is physical. Why are my fonts so big? Well, there we go. There we go. Movement, which is of type physical. What's the feedback for the movement mechanic? For now, I will just say the surface is walkable. We'll have to come back to this one and add more detail and complexity, because the first question anyone would ask, but how do I know a surface is walkable? So we'll have to come back to this one and define exactly how a walkable surface looks like compared to an unwalkable surface. What's the input? WSAD, keys. Maybe at some point we'll add controller, but for now let's not focus on that. So let's keep the game playable by anyone who has a keyboard and mouse, so we don't restrict ourselves in designing controller specific mechanics. We can add controller support later, but the game should be designed and thought of just by using keyboard and mouse. What's the win and fail? Well, win, the player moves around. And what's the fail? In some cases, player dies. So just in some cases, the player's character can die. So I'm thinking here of lava, falls into the abyss, this kind of mechanics. And what other styles of mechanics could we find? Mental, physical, social. Well, I know for sure social can be cut off. We can drop it because we won't make a multiplayer game. But you know what? Instead of cutting it all together, that scoreboard approach might be interesting. So I'll just decrease the font size a lot. So we'll keep it there, but we won't make it a base for this. Run. Florinel said run. Yes, so running is a modifier for the moving mechanic. And yes, it's also of type physical. How do I know I can run? And here's where I'll add the stamina bar is full. So I want to have both run and jump related to a stamina bar. And maybe interact. There we go, Florinel, you're on a roll. You are on a roll, which is also of type physical. Let's see. So running. There we go. Thank you, Slip. Thank you. I hope I didn't totally wreck your ears sneezing in the microphone. Next time I'll actually mute the microphone when I have to sneeze. So if I succeed at winning, I will just move faster, but I don't want any fail conditions in the running mechanic. So I don't want us to have, at least here written in the game mechanics statement, any fail conditions if you're not running at some point in the game. Maybe we'll make some level design situations where you have to run so a big part of a puzzle doesn't crush you, but we'll let the player realize that just in that specific level situation we won't have it as a core mechanic in the game. Jumping and interact, both of them are also physical. I can also jump because the stamina bar is full, and I notice places where I can perform a jump. So that means we have to teach the player what are the jump distances, be it in front or upwards, and then he associates those distances with the places he can jump versus the places where he cannot jump. Input, let's keep it at spacebar, the classical jump. And what are the win and fail conditions? Where win, of course, I reach, the player reaches surface, but the fail is player falls. And I'll put here in parentheses, in some cases he can die. So if he falls in a lava pit or in a, I don't know, endless crevasse or something, he will die. The fail condition especially will help us later on when we'll take this, put it into an Excel style, into a spreadsheet style document, and actually add in difficulties as well, like easy, medium and hard. So if you notice this line, player falls and in some cases he can die, just basically hints at easy, medium and hard cases. So easy, I just jump, but if I fail the jump, nothing happens. I just have to retry. This is the classical cube in front of the player, so I have to jump over the cube, but if I fail, nothing happens, and I try again, and I try again, until I, whoop, make it, and I'm on top of the cube. Average case would be, mental will be like calculate something. Yes, Florinel, yes, mental is calculate something, and we'll need that. Is move an unmovable but marked block a mechanic in terms of a puzzle thing? Yes, so this links up perfectly to what Florinel also said. It's a mental mechanic, find out how to open. And here I would like us to either think of a single mechanic, find out how to, or to think more granularly about find out how to open as a mechanic, then find out how to move something as another mechanic, find out how to start or find out how to stop something. I'm still thinking about it if we should go generic and just keep it at find out how to, or if we should go punctual for each one. Okay, so you know what? Let's add some more cells in here. Insert row below, just keep on inserting rows. There we go. So find out how to. This is definitely a mental mechanic. Let's keep it generic for now. Feedback. The player reaches an area from which he cannot progress without solving the problem, the puzzle. Input, that's why in a generic style it's hard to figure out what the input is, because this is a complex definition of a mechanic. If we go granular, we might be able to define the proper input in order to fix it. So find out how to open would be the player sees a marked object that can be opened. The input then would be pull a lever that opens that object. Pull a lever that opens that object. Now the thing is, for now we're saying lever, but that lever could easily be replaced by a magic orb which you have to place somewhere could easily be replaced by putting fire to a stand, a fire stand. Jenko says spying mechanic while holding position. Jenko, you are totally not off. You are totally not off. Because let's go back to the initial design statement and look at how beautiful our design statements help us understand if a mechanic belongs or not in our game. Yes, yes, yes. And look here. We said partly 25% of the game we want to avoid some unstoppable enemies. So what Jenko proposed, spying mechanic, is great because you have to spy on them until they move around and leave an open path for you. So I'll just drop this in as well. Spying, which is mostly mental. Player notices enemies. Stay in hidden spot until enemies move away. The win-fail conditions. The win condition is player can continue unnoticed. The fail condition is player is spotted and chased. Let's think about this find out how to open. And you know what? I'll just mark this as a complex mental mechanic. Because it is a complex mental mechanic. Boink, boink, and boink. There we go. Find out how to open. Find out how to move. You know what? I'll just put this into solve puzzle, which is a complex mental mechanic. Exactly. I'll keep it at the general level for now, and this will be the bread and butter of the level design part of our game. And we're gonna say here the player sees iconic objects. And these iconic objects are, let's say, gate needs lever, working machinery needs switch. What else? Large box needs to be moved. What else did you say earlier? Slipcore, the unmovable board marked block. Okay. How to open, how to move. Okay. Distraction. Yes. Distraction. But distraction is physical. So the player can use an item that generates sound or light. How do we do that? By shooting at it, maybe? Or how should we do that? Can interact with an item. Generate sound, light, movement. I know for sure the win condition is the only proposed weapon a gun. We don't know that yet, Jenko. We're gonna extract that based on what we have. So it might be by throwing pebbles at it. Ah, interacting. Okay, okay. Perfect. Perfect. Objects. Wrote it down. Okay. What's the win condition? Enemies get distracted by the environment item. And what's the fail condition? Enemies are not distracted by the environment item. Provide input on a linked object that by the interact on a linked object that come on, help me out here, folks. I got a brain freeze. Provide interact on a linked object that enables that changes the state of the iconic object. There we go. Triggers, yeah. That's perfect also. Now the question is, okay, I changed the state, but what happens? So the win condition state is changed favorably for the player. But we can also have state is changed unfavorably for the player. Yo, vegan burrito. Welcome, dear friend. So vegan burrito is another Unreal Engine developer. He's hardcore programmer from what I was able to see. And he actually works also live on stream on a platformer parkour game. Anytime, vegan burrito. You have an awesome project going on there, and I love your art style. You're just in time. We're super early in our project. This is what we have so far. So we created we now have a working title for our project, Untold Designs, it's going to be called. This should actually be capital D. It's a first-person puzzle adventure game where the player has to solve large environmental puzzles. We did create a few examples. Here's a medium-sized puzzle and how it should look like. Actually, we have them in the engine already. So we're just setting here moods for the project. So let's quickly go. This would be a medium-sized puzzle. Like we're just setting the mood and the size and how we'd want to see it. This one in the back would be a large-sized puzzle, which kind of makes me think, hey Slipcore, you should send me somehow your map so we can also open that one and showcase it. For now, I'll just use the document. This is the small-sized puzzle, which was built yesterday on stream by Slipcore in his own project at his own PC. So we are now... Nice, thank you very much, Slip. We are now in the phase of writing down the game mechanics. This serves as a very good design plan, and also it will help us split a bit the time we spend for each one and understand what functionality we will need to build. So let's go back here, because I think we got a pretty good list. For now, I would like us to live with it, and if everyone's satisfied, I wouldn't add for now in this list. And why am I using the for now? I'm pretty sure that after we implement half or all of the mechanics in this game, in this list, we will realize by ourselves what other mechanics we need and want to implement. But the goal, especially if we want to finish a project, that's what I've been able to realize in the past 12 years working as a professional game developer. And if anything, the producer job at Electronic Arts really changed my mind and my understanding of how games actually get delivered. So if we want to have even the slightest glimmer of hope we'll be able to finish our project, the best thing we can do is to start with a small, finite list of features we want to put in the project. Okay, Sleepcore, just send it over by Google Drive, your project, and we'll see how we can solve this. I'm working on setting up the SVN, so we'll all be able to work in it, both me and you. So we'll have to figure out a solution. Okay. As I was saying, a small, finite list of items, or a finite list of items, not necessarily small, is the best way to make sure you'll be able to finish your project. Now, if at some point we want to add more items on the list, our rule, and something I propose and advise everyone to do, should be you have to have at least 75%, at least 3/4 of your existing list already done, implemented, and working before you start adding more on the list. Otherwise, you're just avoiding implementing existing items and just adding items and adding items and adding items, and you'll never finish the project. So if everyone's okay and there are no more honorable mentions, we can stop the list here. But you've got one last chance and one last shout out if you thought of something that really could be useful and should go on here. We're all listening. Oops. Is this the same row? Is this the same row? Yes, it was the same row. Okay. There. Add ponies. Well, you did say ponies. We didn't yet say what the enemies will be like. So they might just be ponies. We'll never know. And yes, I also like ponies a lot. They're almost as cool as horses, but smaller. Okay. No, no ponies. Okay, Sleepcore, no ponies, so be it. So here's the thing, folks. Remember how I said in yesterday's stream we will be working with red, green, blue mentality. So red means it doesn't exist in the project or in the build. Green means it's there, it works, but don't ask me how it works. We just made it work. And blue means it's working properly, it doesn't cost too much in terms of efficiency of hardware, and it doesn't have bugs anymore. So let's make a quick exercise on this seemingly on this seemingly small table. Let's make a quick exercise and mark every mechanic with red, green or blue. So let's see what's going on here. Can I move in the template first person project? Yes, I can. Well, this one goes to green. All red, almost all red, Florinel. Almost all red. Can I run? I do not know. Let's all find out. So I'm moving normally, and if I press shift, nothing seems to happen. I don't think I'm running. All red, yeah. Close enough, Florinel. Close enough. We had the green one, but I think that's about it. So running, that's a no-go. Then this one is red. We don't have running implemented. No running, says Slipcore as well. Okay, jumping. There is a form of jumping. Yeah, we do have a form of jumping. I can't jump on these boxes yet. Maybe if I scale them down a bit. Up. There we go. Maybe if I scale them up like this, scale them down, sorry, like this. Maybe. Yay! Did I make it? I didn't make it. Come on. Now I made it. Okay, so we can jump on stuff. But right now, the stuff on which we can jump has to be really small. Okay. So jumping is green, actually. I'm surprised. I'm actually surprised. Florinele, I'm actually surprised that we have two in the green already. Interact, which is a physical mechanic. Prompt to interact is the way I understand I can interact, plus special material. So I want all the interactable objects in the world also to have a special highlight material, so I know that's an interactable object. Input should be E key, win fail, interaction causes world state change, fail, not the case. I would also be tempted to say, Florinel, that maybe we have spying as well. So let's recap. Interact, no go. We don't have it, so it's in the red. Spying. Florinel said maybe I can also spy. Yes and no, because the spying relies on enemies and I don't have enemies yet. So unfortunately, no. Yes, Slipcore, unless I call shooting something interaction. Maybe there I can get away with it. Okay, so spying, not yet. Distraction, not yet, because again, we need enemies to be distracted and we don't have any kind of enemies. So in the red again. Solve puzzle. This, Florinel, might be the only one we could actually have, but unfortunately we didn't create any kind of level design so far, so we don't have even a puzzle to challenge the player with. So we're in the red again. That block can be an enemy. Yes, but right now it's a very silly enemy, Florinel. Okay, so come on. I think we're in the zone to transition here. So this is where we're at right now. Define, yeah, a scarecrow enemy. So we'll just pretend we don't like it, and it gives us a feeling of unease. That's why we'll avoid it. Okay, so here's where we're at. We managed to define the game mechanics as well. Ta-da! And we just got our first reality check as developers. We don't have much implemented. So again, just with this tiny little list of 2, 4, 6, 7 mechanics, just with this tiny little list of 7 game mechanics, and we're already 5 mechanics behind out of 7. That's hashtag devlife, and that's how it goes. So please, if you have any questions before we go into our second segment, which will be a quick win inside Unreal Engine, just let me know how and what you're thinking about. And yes, Sleepcore, I agree. I totally agree with you. We are blessed to live in these times and to be doing project in these times. We are months into development already. At least we have movement and jump and the functional game engine that will allow us to quickly develop the other mechanics. A quick win. So Sleepcore is ready for a quick win. If nobody has questions, we'll probably just jump to that quick win moment. Nobody? No questions? Nada? Nada? Come on, chaps. Okay, that means I must have explained it well enough so there are no questions. Perfect. Let's go to the quick win part. So, boink. There we go. How can we get ourselves a really quick win? Well, I'm looking at this list. And we have 2 options. Either to do the interact or to do the run. To implement one of these 2 in order to get ourselves a quick win and the confidence boost. Just seeing one of these 2 simpler mechanics being implemented will help us a lot in facing the ongoing project. No worries. So work. Yeah, everyone's working hard here. So, which one should we implement, folks? Florinel, Sleepcore, or Vegan Burrito? What's the quick win you want us to get? Running or interacting? Because this is something we'll probably be able to do during the stream. And Algebra 97. Sorry, my dear friend, you were all silent, so that's why I didn't know who else to ask. Algebra 97. Just pick one. Florinel says running. Okay. Algebra says all good, bro, no worries. I do not have that mechanic. Okay, Sleepcore also says running because it would be the easiest. And Vegan Burrito goes a bit OCD and says running as well to keep the green all in a line. Okay, so with a majority of votes. Okay. Vegan Burrito, you're also into music. I didn't know that. I didn't know. You're a man of many talents. Not only he's a parkour instructor by day, he's a Unreal Engine C++ programmer, developer by night, I guess. I don't know what time zone you're in. And you're also making songs. Wow, okay. Running it is. I do not know anything about this project, so that's why the first thing I'll do, I'll open the first-person character blueprint to see what's going on in there. Don't get scared by everything we see here. It's all laid out in boxes and commented pretty, so we can easily understand what's happening here. What's happening? So it looks like we have controller support, movement input, okay, with input axes. We do have stick input as well. Okay, so this is HMD, so coming in from a touch screen probably. This is stick input and mouse input for looking, input action jump. Let's see what else we have. HMD is from VR, my bad. Spawn projectile, so this is the shooting part. Okay, so this should be our input. Turn rate and lookup rate, okay, but where do I have the keyboard? Where do I have the keyboard movement? This is very good to find out. And you know what? Lookup rate, turn rate. And yes, Vegan Burrito streamed yesterday. If I'm not mistaken, yesterday we raided him after we finished here. Yes, sir, Bob. If my memory is not acting up on me. This is actually quite interesting. So the movement input seems to be this one, but it's split, maybe? Based on the style, if it's a head-mounted display or not. Okay. So let's see if I am correct. I will just put 2 breakpoints on the movement input. And we will just hit play and see if we hit those breakpoints. And we did hit them. We're hitting them all the time, actually. That's even more intriguing. Interesting. Okay, let's try breaking the links because the input might come in with 0 value. So let's try actually breaking the links. Filed and saved. No, Florinel, just jump in and talk about it. Just jump in and talk about it. So here's a trick I've learned from NGS Nick, from Nick. If you have a connection and you want to break it, let me enable the keystrokes. You keep Alt pressed and you click on the connection to break it. So again, I keep Alt pressed and I click on the connection to break it. There we go, nice and easy. Why am I breaking the axis? To confirm what Sleepcore already confirmed, that if I don't have any input, the value sent is 0, and we'll actually talk a bit about this. Yeah, okay, so now it works. Now it works as in I am getting no more input. We'll go back to Photoshop and sketch a bit what's going on there, just so everyone understands it. Algebra97 is asking if I have a YouTube channel or a GitHub page. Link them whenever I'm available. Well, we have this page. Bam. And of course, we have a YouTube channel, a Facebook page, GitHub, not that much because I'm not a programmer at heart. I actually have a GitHub account, a private repository on GitHub, which I will close because we're in the process of switching to our own hosted SVN. So let me just jump into Photoshop and explain real quick what was going on there and why apparently we were sending input when in fact we weren't physically sending input. So the way the character movement is structured in Unreal, the way I debugged by myself right now and understood is structured in Unreal, so you don't have to be a wizard or a genius, you just have to tinker around until you find out what's going on. So this comes from ever since the controllers appeared. So we have this zero, this big fat zero, which is a zero value. You're sending nothing basically. And every input we do will stay in a range. Again, this comes from the controllers. That's, if I would, there we go. I have a controller close by. So, because a controller on the stick has an analog input, which is different than a key press, we are now talking about moving the stick in a range. So if I move this stick, I don't know if you can see it well enough. There you go. So if I move this stick left and right, I'm basically telling the game I am moving on the left-right axis, which is a single axis. Let's see in Unreal which one it is. So we actually understand on which axis we actually move. So if I just select my character, I'm in local green. So red, green, blue, that means X, Y axis. Exactly, I go through the X coordinate. So let's actually write this here. Whoop. Very good algebra. Thank you for confirming it's the X-axis. I was having trouble converting while talking. X input. There we go. But the thing is, because of the appearance of the analog sticks, we're not looking at the input anymore. And I'll just draw here the old school of looking at input. Let's call this left equals 1 and right equals 1. So back in the day when we just had keyboard strokes, it was super easy, right? Because a keyboard stroke could be 0 or 1. You almost see that one, but you see this one. A keyboard stroke could be 0 or 1, right? So if I would press on the right key or the D key or whatever key we had mapped there, it would turn its state from 0 to 1, and the game would know I'd have to move to the right or to the left. But now, because we switched to sticks, we're always providing input on the x-axis with a value between -1 and 1. When the stick is not moved at all, we're in 0. When we're moving it all the way up to the left, we're in -1, and when we're moving it all the way up to the right, we're in 1. The major advantage of using this form of coding the input is that we can have intermediate values, and hence the beauty of analog sticks and analog controls in general, joysticks, steering wheels, you name it. Because here we can be at 0.7, here we can be at 0.3, and so on, minus 0.3, minus 0.7, 0.4, and 0.8. So we have much more finesse in our movement. Okay, so let's look at what's actually going on here. Input axis move forward is a custom event defined in the project preferences, if I'm not mistaken. I would actually like to see where this is defined. Input axis move forward, or to read documentation about it. Input axis move forward. Flipkart nods. Okay. Okay. Project settings input. Okay, so it is defined in the project settings. It was my first hunch. I should have sticked with it. Edit project settings. Input. There we go. There we go. Action mappings. Axis mappings. There we go. Move forward. Okay. W and S. Up and down. Gamepad. Axis. And motion controller. So we're set up for VR, for gamepad, for up, down, and W and S. Okay. So now let's add an action mapping for running. And we did say algebra, you're close by. I'm actually not from Croatia, I just live here. I'm from Romania, from the more eastern side. But Dr. Drogi is Croatian. Aha. Yes, Dr. Drogi. I will save my Dr. Drogi card, my Dr. Drogi get out of jail card for when we're in real trouble. And yes, we'd love to have you on stream. I can actually highlight where we'll start needing Dr. Drogi. I'm pretty sure that distraction and spying on enemies will be something where Dr. Drogi will probably jump in the stream a lot. Yes. Nice, guys. The clothes you wear every day to train parkour. Oh, okay. Very nice. Very nice. Nice. Truth be told, Vegan Burrito, I did not even know you have custom apparel for parkour. I guess it wasn't the case 5 or 10 years ago when parkour took the world by surprise, but I'm glad to see how far the whole sport went. Wow, custom apparel. Made in Serbia, even better. Okay, so let's get back to running. When we press shift, we want to move faster. So I'll just create an action mapping here, call it sprint. Let's call it run to stay consistent. It will be with shift. Left shift, so I can use my pinky. Feel free to put any key you want in here. And let's see if we can use it as a modifier. Yeah, we're set. Okay, cool. Do I need to save? No, I don't need to save. If I just close this, I will check again just to make sure. Input. If it's saved, it's saved. Run, left shift, perfect. There we go. I really love the fact that you folks started talking in Croatian there. I understand nothing. And Vegan Burrito says not so custom, just very comfortable to move in. Big baggy pants. Ah, okay, so this way your pants don't grab your legs, don't block your legs when you're moving around, jumping on walls and doing all that magic stuff you're doing, which looks like sorcery for a desk rat like me. Okay, let's see first of all if we pick up the input. So now I will call a custom event called run. I will call the action event run, And if my running key is pressed, for now I will just show something on the screen. So if my running key is pressed, I will just print string hello, no, I can has running on the screen. So I'll just print I can has running on the screen. Compiled and saved. Again, I have no idea. Yeah, the desk rat. Yeah, I am an Uber desk rat. Luckily, I go biking from time to time. That's the only thing that's keeping the the premature heart attacks away. Okay, so every time I press shift, if you notice in the upper left corner of the screen here, boink, icon has running, icon has running, icon has running. There we go. So it works. Now let's see how we actually modify the speed of the player so we make him run. It works. If it works, it works. So I'm thinking of adding into the input that already exists and gets read. This will make it work for PC with keyboard for sure, and then we'll have to probably upgrade for the controller case as well. So here's what's going on. I want us to get this value and tail value. Okay. Add movement input. Okay. For now, let's just add into it, but at some point we'll have to limit it, to clamp it, because we'll probably go overboard with the value. The graphic is on fire. Works, don't touch it. Yeah. Okay, so come on. Let's try to add here. I'm just writing in add, and I will use float plus float. And what should I add? Aha, Dr. Drogi recommends on pressed run event, I set the max walk speed to some other value and I have sprint. Okay, instead of adding instead of adding more to the input value itself. And you know what? I'll just use your recommendation because it's so much cleaner. But for that, we'll have to talk a bit about the character. Input alone will not do anything. Ah, okay, got it. Actually, it will, but not what I was expecting. So thanks for the save. Nice save there. Okay, let's talk about the first person character because it's probably here. No, it's not in here. It's in the movement component somewhere. There. Character movement. So we have in the character movement component, which is this component here on the first person character, we do have a category called character movement walking. And this walking category has exactly what Dr. Drogi said, the maximum walk speed, which is set to 600 by default. I hope you can read it because it's kinda tiny there. But the point is, we will just access this character movement component. I just dragged it in the screen. Max walk speed for yeah, correct. So we'll just add this. We'll just drag this character movement in the blueprint, so we can start referencing components from it. And as Dr. Drogi said it, we will set the max walk speed when the input action run is pressed. And you know what? We'll do another setting of the max walk speed when the input action run is released. So first I'll set it when I start running, but then I'll also set it back to what it used to be when I stop running. And just to make it all nice, let's get the default value first. So max walk speed is 600. So when I release, I'll go back to 600, which is the normal walking speed, and running should be 1000. Let's try it with 1000. We'll see a lot more difference at least, and we'll know it works. So let's hit play, and I'm walking, I'm running, I'm walking, I'm running. Now, in order to easily judge if we did something that works or not, let me show you a trick. A trick we use often in level design, and it has to do with defining metrics. So I'll just select the cube. I know this one because it's already tiny and I like it. It has to be tinier for this to work. I scale it up quite a lot. I then duplicate it on the other side. Here's the player's capsule, so I make sure I leave enough space in between the cubes so the player actually has place to run in between. And I will now clone these two bad boys quite a lot of times. Quite a lot of times. Up. Up. Now, I didn't disable physics on them, so I'm actually quite curious what will happen when we hit play, but it might be a fun adventure, so let's just do that and go crazy with it. So we go like boom. Okay, everything is falling apart because I kept physics enabled on them. Hence the crazy adventure. I'll just quickly select everything. All the white pillars. All of them. Select all of them. And just disable the simulate physics flag. So now they're static objects, almost all of them. They don't have physics anymore, and they won't jump around and be pushed around by other collisions calculating their physics. Yes, vegan burrito, that was cool actually. And you know what? Let's keep a few of them with the physics enabled. There. So we have something to jump over as well. Okay, and now I'm walking and now I'm running. And I guess you can also see it. There is a clear difference because I have the pillars as a reference. There's a clear difference between walking. So now I'm walking. Okay. And running, walking, running. You can notice it easier. Walking, running. Okay, we got ourselves our first quick win. So come on, let's put this run on green. Bam! With Dr. Drogi in the stream, everything just seems so much easier. Nice! So now everything is on the green. That whole column, that the top part of the column is on the green. Vegan burrito can chill now. And maybe, just maybe, we'll create an interact as well. We still have some time, but if I go back to the schedule, I'll actually stop it right here because we still need to continue talking a bit about HUD elements. So let me just put this blueprint, this tiny little blueprint segment I've built in a comment box. Running switch. So this way we know where we do the running. And you know what? I would actually like to also cover the controller, because we still have like 5 more minutes to spare on this subject. I would like to also cover the case of the controller. So I will just plug in the controller. There we go. And I don't know if I have to reload or not the editor, but let's try it out. So now if I hit play, yeah, I'm not getting anything. Not getting anything, and the controller is plugged in. So I'll just save everything. For that, I will press Ctrl-Shift-S, which saves everything. So bam, Ctrl-Shift-S, and it saved all my assets, everything I had open. I will close the editor and open it again. It didn't pick up the controller because I plugged it in before the editor was started. Vegan burrito, I know it sounds lame, and sorry if you already tried this, but do actually try to plug it in and then open Unreal Engine, because I'm pretty sure it will pick it up now. Or not. Or, oh, okay. This is a subject we'll talk about later. So now I'm working on controller, but it was just because I also had to click inside the screen. We're still not setting focus on the game, so make sure Vegan burrito also, this is less lamer as a suggestion, and look, I'll actually show it to you in the editor. So check out what's going on. I have my controller, right? I hit play, nothing, it doesn't work, right? It doesn't work. But then if I click inside the 3D view, bam, the controller magically started to work. There you go. It's because at this point the project is not setting focus, input focus on the game itself yet. We're gonna do that, but not necessarily today. What I want to do now is to make the running also available on the controller. So I'll go back to the project settings, I'll go back to input, there we go, and where I have the run defined as a key press, I will probably have to define it as a controller button as well. But before I do that, I want to make sure I'm not overlapping with something else. So jump uses left trigger, fire uses right trigger. And because I want to keep everything logically grouped, if I use left trigger to jump, then I'd like to use the left shoulder to run. So I keep jumping and running in the same neighborhood. So let's go back to our running and let's add an action which will be left trigger. Left trigger. Left shoulder, sorry. Left shoulder. Boink. There we go. I close the preferences, I press Ctrl-Shift-S just to make sure everything was saved. I hit play, I click inside the 3D view, the viewport. Now I've got movement, and when I press the shoulder, it runs. There we go. So when I press the shoulder, I started running. There we go. I release it, I'm not running anymore. Run, not run. Running, not running. Running, not running. There we go. Beautiful. But what about Xbox controllers? It has no shoulders. Yeah, exactly. So I noticed now, Dr. Drogi also said, it's because we're not setting game focus. And let's actually fix this real quick from the blueprint, from the logic part that gets executed, from the map. I'll try to do it in the map. So I'll click on the tiny little arrow next to blueprints. I'll open the level blueprint, and on begin play event, there we go. And on the event begin play, I will just use the set focus to game viewport. Oink. There we go. This should work. And now, to actually test it, I will hit play again. And as you can see, now I didn't have to click inside the viewport anymore. So, Vegan Burrito, this one might actually goes out to you as well. Try it, see if it fixes your controller issue as well. And Dr. Drogi says nah, and I know why, because he's thinking of putting it either in the first person character, maybe on a spawned event or on an activated event. Let's see what custom events I have. Okay, actually Xbox has no trigger, it has shoulder. No, it has both of them. It has both. I don't know how well you can see it here. You know, look, I'll go in the start scene because we get more zoom. There. So I have the trigger here, which is analog and can do also 0 to 1 or -1 to 1. I don't 0 to 1 I think it can do. And then here we also have the shoulder. So I have two buttons. I have this one and this one. Okay. Back to the stream. Boom. Yeah. I think you were talking about the one that presses, because this is press axis or something. If you press on, press stick pressed something. Let's see where we could plug this in the player. In the event begin play. Okay, so in the actual player, I'll try to plug it in.
May we have your attention, please?
And in the event begin play, I will create a sequence by pressing S and clicking here, something Nick has also taught me. And I will just use the same set focus to game viewport instruction, compiled. Now, why did I keep the rest of the branch on the second part of the sequence? I know it might actually make no difference, but I tried to keep the shorter parts in the first pin of the sequence and then the longer parts in the second pin of the sequence and so on. It might not actually influence anything in today's world, but that's how I'm used to it, so that's how I'll do it. Let's grab all of this, put it here and put a comment and say set focus to game viewport. And now we should remove this from the level blueprint, compile and save. And if we hit play again, look, the mouse is somewhere up here. I'll actually click on play and I just take the controller and it works. So now at least I'm using the player, which I know will get spawned for now all the time in the game. It might change later, but for now I know the player always gets spawned when I launch the game, and I'm using the player to set focus, and this way I can provide input directly. I don't have to click first in the game viewport. Okay, we're closing, we're getting close to our Steam ending, and I want us to talk a bit about HUD already. We did quite some progress today. We have running, and now we have focus set on the viewport already. So you know what that means. We'll go back to the scheduled scene. Boom. And we will actually we will strike through what we did, our quick win. There we go. Boom, feeling better, I'm progressing, I'm going further and further through my list. Tiny progress each day, but it will get us a long way in 1 month or 2 months from now. Okay, got it. But Sleepcore says something about the controller, but I'm pretty sure, Sleepcore, what you're referring about with the trigger not being recognized and mapped as a Z-axis is exactly because it can also go from 0 to 1. And the games, probably older games, do that, and they just look at what can give analog. And because they find it, they assume it's the sticks, but these are also analog, yeah. Silly little controllers and their analog sticks. Back in the day, 2005, we actually spent quite some sleepless nights at the office I was working back then, trying to tackle and figure out the new controllers from the PlayStation 3s and Xbox 360s, which had a bit of a different wiring than the controllers from PlayStation 2 and GameCube Nintendo. It was quite fun. We spent quite a few nights. Okay, start thinking about HUD elements. So we did implement the running, but we did say here on feedback, we want to run as long as the stamina bar is full. And what do you know, folks? We don't have a stamina bar yet. So I'm sorry to do this at the end of the stream, but yep, this one goes in the red as well. So we don't have a stamina bar, we'll have to implement one. We can either try it today or we can do it, you know what, let's do it tomorrow, because I want us to spend some time and talk about the HUD and how we bring the widgets in Photoshop a bit, but we don't have a stamina bar. However, what we'll do today, like the true game developer gods that we are, I will just disable my pointer focus so it doesn't interfere with the process, and we will make a mockup or 2 or 3. We'll make a few mockups just to debate a bit how the stamina bar should look like. So we have the following options. I can hit play, I can go full screen to get a 16:9, a nice, oops. Yes. I kinda got it. So scheduled stream. Now it makes sense for you as well. So we go full screen to get almost as close as possible to a 16:9 aspect ratio, which will be probably the form in which most of the people will play this game. We grab a print screen. There we go. It's good enough. It's not 16:9, a pure 16:9. This would be a pure 16:9, but because I have the start bar, I'll just keep it like this. It's still close enough to a 16:9 aspect ratio. I copy this. Oops. I go to Photoshop. Come on, Photoshop. I hit a new document, and the height will be 1440 by 2550 width. Boom. There we go. I'll just set the background to black. And this is how we create our first mockup. So we won't implement it now. We'll create 1, 2, or even more mockups. Talk about how the stamina bar can be represented in our game. So we could have the more standardized approach of having probably some health point display in the corner. Let's use a brighter color first of all, and let's also hide the background. Bam. Okay, maybe I should sit more like this. Okay, so we could have a more standardized approach. Yeah, we could have a more standardized approach of actually having a health point display in the corner. I could actually do like a health point display in the corner with a stamina bar on top. Oh, it actually works if I pretend I look at it and draw it. Yeah, okay. With a stamina bar here. Like so. Crouch down, please, yeah. Okay, so this is a more Call of Duty shooter-esque approach, and maybe to show what kind of weapon the player has and stuff, you know, a lot of HUD stuff we actually don't need, because if you think about it, all our player does is move, run, jump, interact, solve puzzle, distract, and spy. So we won't have a lot of elements. And yes, Libcore, yes, how about a circular approach? That makes a bit more sense for our style of game. So let's create another layer. Circular approach, you're thinking about circle on the edge or circle around the crosshair that shows you how much stamina you have. So we have option 1, circle around the crosshair, which shows you how much stamina you have. We have option 2, something on the edge, a filling circle. Okay, a fully circular approach. Okay, so then I can easily... So it's full if you have stamina. Okay, and where would you think about placing this circle? I'm actually thinking of placing it on the wrist of the player, maybe. Go something like... Go something like... Boink. And have it connected to the player's hand. This might work if we'd be in a sci-fi-ish environment. I will also hit transform here and perspective on it. Could be a Fitbit watch. There we go. Yeah, could be a Fitbit watch. So it should stay somewhere around here. This, however, a little round thing on top of the weapon. Okay, even better, because I was thinking how we'd have to keep the wrist all the time in the screen. The weapon might be easier to be kept on screen at all times. I'm also trying to fake the perspective. Forgive me in advance if I fail miserably. Retransform. So it should be something like this. There we go. Boink. And if I hit the ellipse tool again, I will give it no fill. I could give it like a neon. There. Round thing on the knob in the bottom right. Ah, okay. Got it. Okay. Mm, so something like, no. So something like this, you mean? Perspective. Let's try a distort. Perfect. There. Boom. So this is the stamina bar, the stamina level. Okay. We'll probably actually also modify the weapon so it looks more like a world analyzer, not necessarily a thing meant for shooting. I'm still thinking about that, like you know, interpreter of sorts, and maybe we'll add some visual modes there to show you something you can't see otherwise. We'll think about it. Okay, so this should be the stamina. I will quickly rasterize the layer, and not this one. I'll duplicate it first, hide the original and rasterize the duplicate. And you know what I'll do? I will tricorder. Yes, tricorder. Yes, tricorder was the word I was looking for. Thank you very much for that. Okay, and let's assume the stamina bar, when starting to be used up, would probably fade out like this. I'm trying to mock up how a consumed stamina bar would look like. Not probably like this. Ah, yes, indeed. That would be nice. That would be nice. And then the Star Trek folks would sue us. No, I don't think they would. Unless it's patented or copyrighted by them. Okay, so let's grab this one. Let's grab this one. Just as it is, and drop it in the document. And say HUD mockup. Mockup or mockups. Boom. We drop it here and we write with a little tiny font 11 before the picture with a little tiny font. We'll write something like 28th June, stamina bar displayed on weapon. I'll just put weapon in brackets because it won't be a weapon for long. Okay, 28th June. If we add more to the HUD, we'll just change the date. Believe it or not, Google Docs actually has a versioning system, so we can go back in time and see how the HUD evolved and if we like something from the past or not. Okay, boom. We go back to this one, the background. Okay, we made some progress. Changes are saved in the drive, share. I can copy the link and I can shorten the link. Boink, boink, and share it with everyone watching. And by the way, thank you folks so much for being here and getting involved in the stream and chatting and just being cool all around. Let's now transition to this one real quick. We started thinking about HUD elements. Now it's Q&A time, so just drop any questions or thoughts in. Please don't hesitate. Where do I grab it from? From here. Here. Let's put that strike through right through its font. Bam! And we did our task list for today. It's amazing. Tiny progress, constant tiny progress will get us a long, long way. If there are any questions, I would love to hear them out. If not, I will already prepare the transition. Oh, transition. There we go. In the end scene, you know what? I'll actually drop this a bit. Boom, the transition in the end scene. Nice. Nobody else has any more questions? Dear friends, thank you so much for participating. I hope you've also jumped in and modified a bit the blueprints just like I did, or even better, you went on your own way and did something extraordinary. Yes, Florinel, yes, we'll call it a night, but luckily we'll come back on Saturday, 9 p.m. Central Eastern European Time, 12 p.m. Pacific Daytime, and 12:30 a.m. Indian Standard Time. And by looking at the content plan we did, maybe we'll do the interact as an object of sorts before we start going into enemies and distraction. Vegan Burrito, no worries about it. We will upload the recordings on our YouTube channel. Let me also link you to the YouTube channel, so no worries if you can't make it to one of the episodes. We'll have recordings set in place. And by the way, because we surpassed 100 subscribers on YouTube, thank you so much for that. It's all part of your effort and you should take credit for that. We now have our custom channel name. So just put /levels and maps at the end of the YouTube link and there you have it, folks. There's our channel. Which reminds me, immediately after ending this stream, I will be able to upload yesterday's stream. My Twitch affiliate wasn't yet approved, but I'm working on it and I'm acting as if it was already approved. I still have to fill up something in the payment thing and it took more time than I expected. So anyway, dearest friends, thank you very much for being here. Let me see if we have anything raidable. Let's see if anyone is raidable. Anyone raidable is here. Ah, we have no one streaming right now. That's weird. That's weird. Maybe we can find someone. Engine Identity RPG. What is this? What is this? Asylum development stream gameplay later today. Ah, he's not online. Channels, games. I'm still searching for something streamable. Okay. Working on a battle royale game. Okay, the 12MT. Nice, but it's just a rerun. Work for VR character. Hey, Sleepcore, you did say something about VR earlier. You know what? Let's see what at least Andy is doing. So, on my channel, in the chat, I will just drop this in. Post. Boom. Before we go, thank you very much again. See you all on Saturday when we'll continue work on our first-person puzzle adventure. Now, let's go raid at least Andy. Bye. Bye. See y'all. Bye.